Hey, welcome back to my channel, and I hope you are having a good day. All of April we have been talking about how Jesus changes everything, and this week we'll be talking about how vulnerability leads to great faith. So here's your ammo for the week. So this week there's a story that I have been reading so much into, and it's the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years. Now, this woman went high and low to try to find a cure for herself, and she just couldn't. So when Jesus was in town, she did all that she can to go to him, and she was healed. Now, there's a few things that she did portray and did show that a lot of us nowadays don't like to do. For example, she was really vulnerable. Now, when we hear the word vulnerability, we really don't like to show it. We don't like to show it to people. Why? Because it's kind of like a sign of weakness. Being vulnerable means that you are exposed, your emotions are exposed. It means that you are fragile, and we don't like to do that. Now, this woman, who we really don't know much about, she just didn't care who was around, who was looking. She just knew that she had a need, and she knew that a man named Jesus could fulfill that need. Now, a lot of us go through things in our life where we have such a great need that we look to everything else as opposed to someone like a God who can help us. Sometimes we feel like we can handle our own problems, and the reality is that we can't. And one thing that we struggle with is to be vulnerable with Jesus. We don't want to go to him and say that we have issues. We don't want to go to him and say that we deal with A, B, and C. We don't want to go to him and say, God, without you, I am nothing. She was vulnerable. This woman portrayed a state of almost weakness, which is what we don't like to do. She exposed her emotions. She became very fragile to a very large group of people. But she did it out of desperation. Now, when you're desperate, you'll do just about any and everything to get what you need. Now, in the story, the Bible talks about how she was even crawling, and she actually touched the robe of Jesus, and then she was healed. She was desperate. Now, a lot of us are in situations where they are either financial, where they're something that we are addicted to, whether it's something that we just don't know how to overcome. But when you become desperate in the presence of God, that's when you make yourself available for him to do what he needs to do in your life. Now, this woman became very desperate. She just had enough. Like I said, she went through highs and lows to try to get a cure, but she knew that a man named Jesus would be able to change everything. So she went to a crowd of where Jesus was in the midst of, couldn't find a way through the crowd. So the Bible says that she crawled all the way to where he was at and just touched him. She was that desperate. How desperate are you for Jesus to change something in your life? Does that mean that you have to wake up earlier? Does that mean you have to go to bed later? Does that mean you have to put your phone down? Does that mean you have to put your relationship aside? What does it mean for you to be desperate? Now, because of her actions and because of everything that she did, it led to faith. It led to something that she couldn't find anywhere else. And once she was able to touch the robe of Jesus, she was instantly healed. The Bible says that Jesus was surrounded by so many people, but he stopped in his very footsteps and said, "Who touched me?" And he knew that there was something about that one touch that delivered that person. So when he turned around, this woman said, "It was me." And immediately he said, "Because of your great faith, woman, you are healed." So my question to you is, will you be vulnerable? I've opened the Bible and I can't seem to find anything. You have to be that vulnerable. Sometimes we are going through things in life that we just think that if we just flip the Bible to a page that the answer is there. But you need to search for what you need. She, in the story, was so desperate that she did anything. So what will you do? What will you put aside? What will you begin to experience and show with God what you need? What do you have to do to get that one touch you need from him? To be delivered, to be set free? What do you have to do to get that one touch? So, as your week goes on, talk with God with what you need. Talk with God with what you desire. Talk with God what has been giving you problems, what's hard for you. He's there. The Bible says that he inclines his ear to you when you pray. That tells me that with everyone in this entire world, he knows what your voice sounds like. So take time and talk to him. Take time and see what needs to be done. So until next time, I'll see you guys later and have a good day. Bye.